private, exclusive, enormous garden that's incredibly immaculate. The grass is incredibly neatly lawned. It's like a wealthy person's little paradise, I suppose you can say, somewhere that they can actually escape to, perhaps either after a hard day's work, or maybe just like a little like a sanctuary for them to just like spend a weekend away. But it's just really beautiful. The grass is instead of, I was expecting it to be completely green, really vibrantly deep green, but it's actually got a shade of like yellow, because I think it's actually in somewhere that is quite hot, and therefore part of the grass has been slightly dried from the strong rays of the sun. So it must be somewhere perhaps quite hot, perhaps.
Okay.
But I don't feel...
Do you feel hot?
I don't feel hot. It's almost like maybe the winter, or maybe like an autumn part of the season, but I don't feel cold or warm. It's just, or cold or hot, but just like warm actually. It's just like a very comfortable temperature.
So what time of the day do you think this might be?
I would say either mid-morning or early afternoon.
Mid-morning or early afternoon. And is there any flowers around there?
No, it's just grass, but very beautifully lawned.
Okay. So if you look down at your feet, do you have anything on your feet?
I have a beautiful pair of sandals, and the main part of the sandal is a beautiful shade of gold, and yet the top part has got like lots of flowers on that cover my naked feet.
Okay.
My feet looks as though it's like a bit swollen, but having said that, I think but the pair of feet belong to someone quite young, I think, but it's very swollen at the same time.
Okay, so if you now look at your legs and just look down and see what do you have on your feet, on your legs.
There's no there's nothing on my legs at all. Gosh, it feels as though the pair of legs is like really, really, really wide, and it's covered with quite a lot of hairs. It's really strange. The feet is like completely, beautifully smooth, hairless, and yet the legs are very wide, and yet got lots and lots of hairs.
So do you think it's a man's feet? A man's legs?
Yeah. Even though the feet looks as though it belongs to a young, it's like a lady or young girl, but the legs, they're so wide and so hairy that I think, must surely be a guy's.
Okay, so now look at the top part of your body. What are you wearing on the top part of your body?
I'm wearing like a costume. It's like the Japanese sumo, sort of like a wrestler. I feel as though I'm one of those people, because I'm wearing an outfit, however, that's more like a dress, but it comes up to my knee.
Okay.
So I feel as though I need to like use my hand to describe the length of it. But it's very smart, very expensive, gold colour. Yeah.
So if you just feel the material, just feel it very carefully. How does that material feel in your hands?
It's very smooth, but I know it sounds strange, but I don't think that's me. But I'm actually got a connection with this person, but it's not what I was before. But it's somebody that I feel a connection with in my past.
Okay.
But it wasn't part of me.
Okay. So what I'd like to do now is to open up the gown that you're wearing and see what you have around your middle part.
It's just this it's almost like a man wearing a dress, but it's like a dress that you wouldn't expect a woman to wear, because it's got it's almost like trying to show off his like body, because of, you know, if he's like a wrestler, he wants to show off his body, but he's very, very big, very well built.
Okay.
But like I said, I don't, even though I have like a very strong connection with this individual, but I don't think it's actually me. It's almost like me seeing somebody.
You're like an observer.
Yeah,
Okay.
I am more like an observer. I've got a very strong connection with this person. I think there might be like a message that I need to deliver from him.
Okay, we'll find out about that in a minute. So now I'd like to go up to the top of your head. And what type of hairstyle do you have?
A Japanese. He's got a Japanese hairstyle, and his face is belong to a Japanese man.
Do you know what his name might be?
Sumo. I think he seems to say my name is Sumo.
Sumo.
Yeah,
And how old might he be?
Probably in his like late 20s, early 30s, but he looks older because of the way he's built.
Okay.
He's very proud of what he is.
So is he a warrior? Or is he someone of importance?
I think his occupation, or what he does as an activity, he feels very proud, and I think he's very respected by everyone, because everybody respects his strength, because he's very, very powerful on the wrestling floor, or whatever he does as either as an occupation or maybe as a hobby. But I think it's probably more like an occupation, and he's very proud of it, and he knows he's very respected by people, and he's like shaking his head, saying how very important and proud he is, but not in an egotistical way, but in a way that he knows people look up to him, but he's not one of these people that would actually treat people with condescendingly, but he just likes his position to be respected.
Okay, so what I'd like to do now is I'd like to look around to the right. Tell me what you see.
Oh, I saw these, little Japanese ladies, very beautifully dressed, but it's almost like they're like spirits. They're not actually human form, because they're almost like transparent.
Okay. So how many are there?
2, and they look identical.
Okay. So now if you look over to the left, what do you see to the left?
Again, more Japanese lady, but these ones, they're not spirit. They're like, they've got forms.
They've got forms.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you look around behind you, what do you see behind you?
Trees, but trees is it's really strange trees, because they're like trees where the leaves are almost like shaped, beautifully shaped, like a globe, and actually on like a branch, a thick branch or trunk, that's very straight, and yet the trees, it's almost like someone have actually gone out of their way to actually cut the trees so that they look beautifully shaped.
Okay.
Like globe like that on top of like large tree trunks. It's almost like deliberately been carefully glued.
Okay. So what is the purpose of this garden and this man being here? Does he live here?
I'll ask him. It is a place where he actually sort of escaped to, because there's a lot of I think his job or his whatever he does is a show or job. There's a lot of like pressure on him to actually really perform in front of I don't know, a large audience. I can actually suddenly I've been transformed right into this enormous arena, and he's kind of trying to show me what he does.
Okay.
And we can hear lots of people like really cheering for him, and he's actually staged right in the middle of an enormous arena where it's actually made of like concrete, but yet it's like concrete that doesn't actually hurt. You can actually like sink into. It's almost like soft, but it looks like concrete from a distance. But in fact, it's like quite soft.
Okay.
It's not something that I recognise.
Okay. So what does he do in this arena?
Actually, he just basically just show off his body, really, because all the audience seems to be like quite thin and frail, and they all are admiring, his well-built body. Because I think in certain Western or Eastern society, because they are all usually quite thin, they actually respect people who are very well and big built. So he's actually showing off his incredibly big built body to this audience, and it's actually like flexing his arms up, but you can't see his muscle because there's so much skin and sort of like maybe fat, and you just can't see the muscle part, but you can tell that he's quite a strong person.
So is he like a bodybuilder in a way?
Yeah, from his era.
Okay. And what era do you think this might be?
I'm going to ask him. He reckons it's because during his time he doesn't actually know much about like dates.
Okay.
But he reckons that if you want to put a stamp on the date, then the year is probably like early 1700.
Okay. So who is in charge of his land? Is it like an emperor or someone of that nature?
Yeah, he does report to someone who is very important of the land. He just basically he just basically are looked after. Yeah, I think he said that he has got communication with the emperor, but he doesn't actually have direct communication with the emperor himself or someone of like a of regal or status. But he has like other people's like doing all that for him. He just basically just ensure that he does his job.
Okay. And how did he get into doing this job? Was he born into this role? Or did he train for it? Or was he selected?
He comes from a very poor family. He said to me that he comes from a very family, and in order for them to actually survive, he needs to do something that will earn him a lot of money, and the only way that he felt he can actually help him and his family to elevate in the society is for him to actually be this bodybuilder.
Okay.
So he actually worked very hard in eating a lot of food that he can find, and just and I think most people in his villager that he also support, and actually whenever they can find food, he said, then they'll just give it to him, and he'll actually eat and then just try to pump up his body so that it becomes very large.
Okay. So on a count of 3, I'm going to move you forward into this life by 10 years. So 1, 2, 3. So you've now moved forward in 10 years. And what's happening now?
Oh, you suddenly look very old. Not old, but he's got his hair's it's gone a bit grey.
Okay. And what is he doing?
He's just basically sitting on this large chair. It's almost like, I've done my job now.
So is he like he's retired?
Yeah.
From his job?
Yeah,
so what does he do with his time now?
He just sits on this enormous chair, and he's got these lovely Japanese lady just attend to his needs. It's almost like they're like sort of applying lovely ointments on his body, particularly his hands, and he's just basically relaxed.
He's just being pampered then?
Yeah. Very well looked after.
So what's his surroundings like?
He's now inside this enormous house, beautiful, not in an elaborate way, but very comfortable.
Very comfortable. So he's done well for himself.
Yeah.
And has he looked after his family well?
Well, yes, he has. But this house is just almost like the room that he's in is just like all on his own, apart from these beautiful, lovely Japanese lady pampering him. But he knows, but I can tell. Oh, he's telling me that, yeah, his family is very well looked after, and all the people that's helped him in the village is also very well looked after, because whenever he has money, income from his job, he ensures that a large portion of it is actually distributed for them. Just his way of actually showing his appreciation for what they've done for him, because without them, he wouldn't have actually had this life. Yeah.
So he's been able to repay that.
Yeah.
So that's really good. So if you look around the room now, what is the most striking thing in that room that you notice?
The chair that he's actually
The chair he's sat on.
And the doors, they're like, they're not like, they're made of like good quality woods, and it's got like very plainly it's very plainly made, but it's like good quality at the same time, that is going to last for a long time.
Okay, so I'd like to go over to the door now, just feel that material, see what it feels like. What's that wood feel like to you? And does it have a smell?
There's no smell. There's no smell.
Okay.
But it's quite smooth. It's like
smooth.
It's very smooth, and it's like very expensively made, because in that period of time you wouldn't actually find that smoothness in the wood quality. So
it's been carefully made.
Yes.
So is he still sat in his chair?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
So what I'd like to do, I'd like to walk up to him, and I'm going to count to 3, and you're going to merge in with him. so you can feel what his body feels like. So 1, 2, 3, you've now merged with him. What does it feel like in that body?
Oh, it's lovely and comfortable. It's almost like I've been working very hard and now I can really relax for the first time for a long time. It's almost like for years I've been like working very, very hard. At last I can just feel, I can really relax.
Just rest.
I can almost like
so
sleep for a long time.
So what does it feel being in his body? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel light? Does it feel strong?
It feels very comforting, actually.
Very
you
comforting.
feel safe and secure.
Okay.
Feels very safe and comforting.
Okay. So I'd like you to find out if he has a message for you. You said he may have a message. So what would that message be?
The red message is that it's good to work hard because you get the lovely reward in the end, and the reward is just absolutely heavenly. It's all worth it, he says.
So hard work is worth it, and then you can help other people.
That is the best part, and I think that's why you feel so peaceful. In fact, I think peace is what I can get from him.
Peace.
Yeah, because he don't feel any guilt. He doesn't feel any negativity at all because he knows he's done good in his life. So he just feels really peaceful. I just want to
What I'd like to do now is I'd like to hold on to that.
I just want to stay there. It's so lovely. I just want to stay there.
So what I'd like you to do, Ruby, is I'd like you to hold that feeling of peace. And just remember that feeling of peace. And now we're going to leave that scene and we're going to just drift slowly away from this. So how does that feel for you?
Suddenly you feel a bit lightheaded, actually. But it wasn't what I expected because I was expecting part of me to be involved with that journey, but it was almost like it was probably a message for me. But I had to go through it all to actually get the message.
To get the message.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And the message is that hard work. I know some people feel that, oh gosh, can't be bothered with their hard work, but it felt so the message was that don't worry about what other people think. Just go with what is right for you, and you'll get the deserving and the justifiable reward. And most importantly is always enjoy, help and look after other people as well, so you don't have like the guilt and the negativity and the grudges within you. That's the impression I've got. But being inside him was just so comforting, so peaceful. I just felt I can just sleep inside his body, and I can just.
I was jealous of some of the other bits. Why didn't I have that one?
All those Japanese women that
Yeah, sounds lovely. Yeah.
So it's a good experience for you.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, thank you so very much.
You're welcome. Has anyone got any questions at all for her?
I can't believe how chatty you were. just explaining, describing in details without even being prompted. Just as if you just saw everything there.
It was just so unusual because I was expecting to be me.
Did you
going
expect
back.
a little bit to do with the one you did before?
Yeah, exactly. Because I want to find out what happened on the other side, especially this, what looks like a spaceship. The doors, I was like very fascinated, but I wanted to like explore the other side. Yeah, I was hoping, and then suddenly I saw this thing, and then that's like a more, and then suddenly all these hairs. Oh no, it's not me, is it? Oh my god! And it just actually said it wasn't me, but it was somebody that. It's just somebody that needed to just show me that it doesn't really matter about appearance either. as long as you work hard and be a good person, it doesn't really matter about appearances, and that you look after other people as well as perhaps yourself as well. That was, I think, the message for me. Yeah,
even in amongst other
for me,
there was also belonging to a community.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And being close with that community, feeling supported by the community.
Yeah,
as well as supporting the community.
Yeah,
so
they were all working together. Yeah,
it's not standing alone and doing it on its own. Was it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was very good. That as part of his journey, he was looked after by the people, and he was looking after them. So it was almost like a teamwork, really, wasn't
was
it?
able to still share.